Hi everyone, I'm Emily Canal. I'm Inc. Magazine's resident Shark Tank expert, and this is Tips from the Tank. Eric Roy presented his company Hydroviv, which is a line of custom-built filters for purifying water from your tap. And he went on Shark Tank seeking $400,000 for 10% of his business, which he was inspired to do after the Flint, Michigan water crisis. Eric did a great job. He had a really simple demonstration that just focused on lead and arsenic and getting that out of the water, which we all know is very, very bad for humans to drink. And he had a small presentation, handed out his filters. He didn't get lost in the science of it and just gave them everything that they needed, and then they could move on to the business plan. There were two main issues with Eric's pitch that the Sharks had a lot of problems with. One of them was the marketing.
I need help. Sales and marketing.
A management level marketing person is just going to want to spend money in new ways to prove their value.
Right now, we don't have anyone at our company who wakes up thinking about the marketing analytics, what the data are.
You do.
That's your job, you're the head.
And it should be him, you know. He may be a small operation at the moment, but he's the founder and he should be pushing those things, especially since he's the person who knows so much about this problem and how his business can fix it. Guest shark Rohan Oza had a lot of problems with this. He was concerned that people didn't really know about the problem of their drinking water. Yes, we are aware of Flint, Michigan, but that seems so siloed compared to the rest of the country. And how was Eric going to get that word out to people that one, there was a problem, and two, he has a simple fix for it? So a couple of sharks went out because of that. They really liked his idea, they really liked him, but they saw a lot of problems in how he wanted to scale the business and market it to consumers.
So I'm interested because I love products that do well by doing good. And so I'll make you an offer. I'm going to offer you the $400,000, but I want 20%.
Another one of the problems with Eric's pitch was, he's passionate, and that's really great when you're going to investors and you're pitching your business, but he got a little too tied up with the criticisms he was getting from the sharks. So, Barbara expressed a lot of concern in the customer base, and Barbara's saying she's out. And he keeps focusing on answering Barbara's question about the customers.
There's a couple things I do want to speak to Barbara.
I would not.
And you can just see Mark Cuban getting so frustrated that he's ignoring him. Mark Cuban has a really big ego, and he doesn't want people to wait on a deal offer. Thankfully, he ended up refocusing to Mark and was able to salvage that deal, but he really lost an opportunity to negotiate with Mark. He could have maybe gone down to 15%, which is closer to his original ask of 10%.
You have a deal, Mark.
The three main takeaways from this episode are: 1, if you're targeting an investor, make sure you're doing it right. We say this over and over and over again on the show: do your homework. If you watch the show, you know that Mark Cuban doesn't like it when you entertain other deal offers. He'll often go out. He has a big ego and he wants you to cater to that. So if you really do want to work with a shark like Mark Cuban, you need to know how to respond to his deal offers. The second takeaway is don't get distracted. Lori was saying, you haven't heard from Kevin yet, you haven't heard from Kevin yet. Meanwhile, Mark is saying, hey, wait a second, I offered you a deal. Why are you talking to Barbara when she said she was out? In the end, that robbed him of time to negotiate with Mark. The third takeaway is, if you're going to sell a solution to a problem, make sure you paint a very clear picture of the problem. When Eric presented his business, a couple of the sharks asked about, okay, is this a massive problem for people? How many people are actually aware of this problem? We know about Flint, but is this a problem outside of Flint? And that ended up being one of the issues for Eric and his business, was that the sharks couldn't see how he was going to educate people. Eric had a really strong product and a really, really strong pitch. He was calm, he was composed, he had really great visuals. I think if he could have just honed those 3 takeaways, then he would have walked out with a better deal than the one he got. I'm Emily Canal, that was Tips from the Tank, and remember, if you're selling a solution, make sure you clearly present the problem.